On our continuing series of candidate interviews, we'd like to welcome, running for the Port of Olympia Port Commissioner, District Number 1, the incumbent, George L. Barner, Jr. George, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
It's nice to have you with us. We ask the same question coming out of the gate of all the candidates. What is your platform for your candidacy?
Well, I guess when you talk about a platform, I don't interpret it or feel like it's a platform, but it's a group of issues that I want to pursue, such as I have over the last 8 years. When I came in, we had one ship all year in 2008. Now we have 2 and 3 ships a month because we've got a very effective team that's managing the port, and I just want to continue to be part of that effort to promote the Port of Olympia in the region, in the community, and around Puget Sound. We have one of the best longshore teams on the West Coast. They are the most efficient, the safest. They're about the quickest. We have a break bulk port. We don't do cargo containers. We only do hands-on cargo. And these folks are so effective and so efficient and so safe that they get the job done and get the ships in and get them out quicker than any other port. And that's why people like to come to Olympia, because they know it's going to be a slam dunk and a wham bam. Thank you, ma'am, and they're gone. They get in, unload or load, and they're back on the water, delivering their cargo or returning for more. So it's a good situation. We have a contract. We just renewed a contract with Weyerhaeuser for another 5 years to ship logs. It's their own logs. It's not public timber. People continue to complain to us about shipping logs. Well, it's privately owned timber. We have nothing to say about that. All we are is a port where people ship things, right, or import or export. So we don't pick and choose and say, you can't do that or that's bad. It is what it is. It's cargo. And that's what ports do, is handle cargo coming and going. So I just want to be able to continue to support the evolution of the Port of Olympia as it builds its skills and manages its resources to be the most effective port in Puget Sound. As an example, in 2013, the Port of Olympia, because of the success from 2012 and 13 and 14, we were selected the Port of the Year by the other 70 ports because we were so effective in the operations and the revenues that we generated. We were able to be a very, very effective and successful port. And we're proud of that award. That's big.
You got it.
George, why are you deciding to once again run for re-election?
Well, I've got some things I'd like to continue to do. We have been about the business of addressing the environment in Thurston County at the Port of Olympia. We've been doing cleanup of the sediment all around Bud Inlet. We just recently completed but restoration of Mission Creek at the Priest Point Park. It was formerly a salmon-bearing stream that was devastated by some contractors about 10 or 15 years ago before I got there. And it was just nothing but rubble, wood, concrete. It was a mess. The creek wasn't flowing. And the neighborhood came to us and we said, we'd like to do that. We put $120,000 on the table, got a group of volunteers, got the city of Olympia to partner with us, and we restored that Mission Creek to a, once again, flowing stream that we expect will be a salmon-bearing stream once again that historically has always been a very wonderful resource for the county. So I'm proud of that achievement. We recently completed the Cascade Pole cleanup. That was a project. I was on the county board of commissioners in the 80s when the then Congressman Jolene Unsold came to the community and asked for all the elected officials to get together down at the port, and we looked at the mess that had been left by Cascade Pole. Creosote poles, they had destroyed the environment there. And we set about restoring that area of land. Over the last 20 years, 25 years, we've spent about $35 million there. And we just recently capped it with a 14-acre parking lot. And we've now got a portion of land that's available for recreation. People can come down and relax, see the sound, look at the Olympics, look at the boats, watch the ships come and go. We've recaptured a bit of the flavor of the Port of Olympia. I'll say I'm very proud. I was longshoring there in the 50s when I was in high school. And I was a casual longshoreman and worked on the docks. And so I've got a long investment personally in the Port of Olympia, and I want to see that port continue to evolve and become a very, very effective port. We just recently bought a new crane. We had 2 old cranes that had been there. They'd been bought used. They were built in '68. They were no longer of any good. They didn't work. They were huge, big clunkers sitting on the dock on rail lines. And we invested in a crane that's been reconditioned from Belgium. It's a heavy crane. It's a mobile crane. It'll go anywhere on the port. It'll lift 140 metric tons. And it is a piece of equipment that we're proud to have to give us flexibility to be able to do all kinds of cargo. And we recently established a rail loop on our docks that allows rail cars to come right onto the terminal, right next to where the ships are moored. And we can take cargo off the trains and put it on the ship, or take it off the ship and put it on the rail cars. So we're becoming very effective in organizing our operation. So we're efficient, and we are able to do all kinds of break bulk cargo.
George, why would the voters want to select you over your opponents?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm just a local guy. I grew up there. I've been part of the community. I have a strong interest in the environment, and I want to continue to build an environmental heritage for the Port of Olympia. We have, I think, a very wonderful port. We have a marine terminal that's very, very successful. We have a marina with boat works that does boat repair. We have 700 slips for pleasure boats. We just recently were awarded both the boat works and the marina an award by the Department of Ecology as a clean marina, the first one certified in the state as a clean marina with environmental standards. We are doing a very good job in providing support for the recreational boater. We're in the processes now of trying to assess if we are going to become a marina with a fueling dock to be able to give our boaters and visiting boaters and some commercial ships, tugboats and such, the opportunity to refuel there. I think that's something the port should be doing. And so we're going to be making a decision sometime before the end of the year, I believe, on that decision, whether to go or no go with a new fueling dock. I think it's an additional resource that gives us flexibility at the port for the boating public, for both local boaters and visiting boaters. Right now we have people packing 5-gallon cans of gas down to their boat and trying to refill their gas tanks. There's jeopardy in that because of spillage into the bay. That's got to be done away with, and I'm hopeful that we can move forward to do that. I'll say that the Port of Commissioners has set about the business of establishing a strategic plan for the port that's geared toward 2025 to give us a set of goals and objectives to be able to manage the port in a manner that is a positive management, to give us an effective goal-setting document that will allow us to continue to grow, to flourish, and to be successful in business as a public port. And I'm proud of the track record we've set. We've been recognized by our other ports. I think we've been doing a good job, and so I'm proud of the job we're doing, and I want to continue in that vein.
Finally, George, what would you consider some of the biggest issues that are facing the voters in the Port of Olympia district currently today?
The voters. Well, there's a lot of people that argue about Capitol Lake being kept as a lake or taking the dam out and making it an estuary again. I was there in '49, watched the state build that dam, and they've sat along there and watched that lake fill up with sediment. When I was 10 years old, that lake was 12 to 15 feet deep, and it was a recreational lake, and it was used for boating, water skiing, for all kinds of fishing. Now it's every year 35,000 cubic yards of the Deschutes River comes down into Capitol Lake, and it's just filling up the lake. It's now 3 and 4 feet deep, producing all kinds of algae. It's not a healthy body of water. Something's got to be done. It's not the port's job to do that. The port is a port. But the state needs to manage that lake. They built it, they created it, and they ought to manage it. They ought to dredge it so it can be a healthy lake again, because it's a resource for the community. It's a shame to let that lake go as the state has. And I don't know, there's the DNR, the Secretary of State, the governor, lieutenant governor. They're all responsible. The legislature has to finance it. They don't have the money because they got to pay for schools. That's facing the community, but the lake belongs to the whole state. It doesn't belong to Thurston County. It's owned by the state, needs to be managed by everybody in the state, because the taxpayers of the state own that lake. I just think they ought to manage it. So that's a big one for the community. Bud Inlet is a mess. It's been on the receiving end of disgusting behaviors by people over the last 50 to 75 years. The port's been there 90 plus years, and they just dumped everything in the bay. We've done dredging there along our berth. We've extracted logs, tires, part of a car body. There's oil canisters with PCB oil in there. It's a mess. And I got my degree from Evergreen State College in environmental affairs and political ecology. And we need to do the job of taking care of our Puget Sound, because the environment will barely support the marine environment that we depend on. The salmon runs, all the variety of wildlife that live in our marine environment are at the mercy of the citizens who live there. And we've been polluting that bay for over 75 years, and we got to stop it. We've got to clean it up. We've got to manage it. And that's what I want to do, is continue along that path that we've already set in motion. We've negotiated a contract with the Department of Ecology, and we have an agreement to do sediment testing all around there. We've cleaned up Cascade Pole. We've cleaned up the East Bay where the marina is, the pleasure boats, because there's a capped Moxley Creek that empties into Bud Inlet from the city of Olympia, and it's really amazing. The port's a business. It's a government, but it's a business. Because we're a business, the state says you have to treat your water. We just spent, we had a budget of $11 million to build a new stormwater treatment facility to clean up our stormwater. The state raised the standards. We now have to have water that's cleaner than drinking water to put back into the bay. And we have met those standards. Before we started to build our treatment system, the state said, whoa, you can't build it on that land. It's got to be cleaned up. So we spent another $1.5 million to clean up that nasty legacy pollution in the soil where we were going to put the stormwater facility. Ended up spending $12.5 million to build that facility. but it's working. We're meeting the new state standards. As an example, Port of Tacoma spent $9 million, and they're not meeting the standards. They better stop and go back and start over again. So it's not a game. It's not fun. It's serious business, but we're doing the job. We got an award from the state, the designer of the system that we invested in, KPFF Engineering, and the port got an award, a platinum award from DOE, and we're proud of that because we are stewards of the environment as well as a business. So we're trying to do it all, manage the environment and provide working jobs for longshoremen and other people. We have a marina, we have an airport, we have 1,700 acres of real estate that we lease. So we are an effective business managed by a group of professionals, and I'm proud to be one of the 3 part-time officials that oversees that operation. It's a fun job, and I'm proud of what we're doing. I want to keep doing that.
Okay. Running for Port Commissioner, District Number 1, the incumbent, George L. Barner, Jr.
Thank you for the time to visit with you.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.